Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining. Fantastic to have so many of you with us today. And welcome to the March 2021 NF Core Hackathon. I've lost track of how many hackathons we've done for NF Core now. This is maybe the fourth or fifth, but this is by far the biggest. It's really exciting to get started. So this morning, we're just going to have a couple of short talks. We're just going to basically go through how the hackathon will run, what there is for you to expect. We're going to talk a little bit just in brief about what the different projects we have set up, and then we'll split up for group distribution and hacking after that, and we can all get started. So let me jump straight on and start talking you through some of what we're going to do. So you can find all of this on the NF Core website, so that's where you should go if in any doubt whatsoever. There's a lovely schedule there which should display all the times in your own time zone wherever you are, and even highlights the different table rows as we go through, so you can easily see what's on right now. And we're working over 3 days, so not everyone's going to be around all the time, but hopefully you can join as much as possible. So the rough schedule looks like this. Today, Monday the 22nd, we are starting off with welcome, group assignment, and then basically each day we have a morning of hacking. We have a quick informal group catch up around lunchtime if you're in Europe, and then we kind of do a bit more hacking in the afternoon, and then we have a kind of a wrap up for Europeans in the time zone handover, as we've called it, which is basically a summary of what we've done during the day in Europe, and also that's a good time to check in with other people in other time zones so that they can have that as their kind of start to the day, if you like. All those days are pretty much the same, apart from on the 24th, when we'll also have a social event after we finish. More information on that soon. So the ones highlighted in green here will be on Zoom, as we are right now, and live streaming to YouTube. Those live streams will be on YouTube after the event as well, so I expect quite a few people still in bed, depending on your time zone, if it's like 4 a.m. in the States or whatever. So we expect that, and so all of these events are on YouTube, so you can catch up whenever makes most sense for you. And then these ones in blue are more informal. They're not going to be streamed, they're not going to be saved, and we're going to use a tool called Jitsi for that, which is like Zoom, runs in your web browser. And that's very informal, and each project has their own Jitsi link, which you can find in the Slack, and you're basically free to use that link whenever you like, just to kind of chat if it's useful, and we'll have these times for when we actually do a little catch up and try and get everybody online. So who's here? Little bit of stats on who signed up to the hackathon. This is by far the biggest hackathon we've had with NF Core by a long way. So far, all the hackathons have pretty much grown exponentially, and this is no exception. We have 127 people who filled in the registration form, which is fantastic. I think the record we had until now was probably the hackathon we had last year, which was about 60 people off the top of our head. So this is just really exciting to see so many people here today. A few of you, about a third of you, have been to some kind of NF Core event before, and then we have lots of newcomers. So welcome if this is your first event with NF Core, and hopefully won't be your last. And so it's really good to see lots of new faces. And we're pretty well spread, actually. As normal, we have a bit of a European bias due to the historical origins of NF Core, but it was great to see a lot of people, a lot of dots appearing in other countries around the world, which is really exciting. It's always been a big aim of mine with NF Core, is to try and kind of make it as widespread and accessible as possible. So it's really nice to see, and welcome if you're joining from one of these areas especially. We've got a good mixture of people joining. So we have a fair number of you filled in that you have no experience writing NF Core pipelines, which is kind of what we expect. But quite a few people, I've just noticed that these categories are not sorted. Okay. But quite a few of you have said that you're either some experience or very experienced, which is really good. This is also a bit of a departure from previous events where nearly everyone has been new to NF Core. So it's great that we've got a good mixture today. So welcome if you're new, and hopefully there's going to be a lot of help around, and you'll be able to mix and spend time with people who are a bit more experienced and pick up a lot and learn a lot during this event. Also, part of the registration, we asked you which of these kind of project themes you were most interested in. We actually asked you to rank them, but just to make it simple here, I've just taken your top picks. And pretty much reflects what we expected, that a lot of people are interested in contributing to DSL2, which is this new language for Nextflow and the next direction, the next wave of the NF Core project. And a lot of people are interested in writing pipelines and contributing to pipelines. This pretty much follows previous hackathons and what we expect, and it's great. And we have a corresponding kind of setup with the number of mentors and leaders we have in those groups. So hopefully there'll be plenty of support and lots of things to do. And then there's you kind souls who are eager to help out with some documentation and framework tools, which is always an essential part of every NF Core hackathon and of the NF Core community. Okay, so how's this hackathon going to work? Every hackathon is a bit different in kind of how they're set up. This is a fairly relaxed one, but we have kind of a rough kind of idea of how we're going to split this up and organize ourselves. So we do everything with NF Core with Slack. That's where all of our kind of discussions happen, all of our kind of community consensus and decisions. So jump on Slack if you're not there already, and join the hackathon channels which you're most interested in, and basically chat with everyone and just kind of keep up to date with what the group's doing. It's a good kind of place to start. When you're ready to actually start doing some work, we have GitHub projects boards, which are basically a way to organize GitHub issues across multiple repositories. So if you go to the NF Core organization on GitHub and click projects at the top, you'll see there's a bunch of different projects. There's a board for each one of the hackathon themes. So jump on there and you'll find a column on the left saying to do, with lots and lots of things to choose from. Have a scroll through there, have a read through. Some are big, some are small, some are easy. If you're a newcomer, some will hopefully be labeled as first timers only, which are ones which we think would be a good place for newcomers to start. But also just take your pick basically and grab something that you think looks interesting. Once you've found one which you think that you can do, go to that issue. So click on that issue and follow through, and you can assign yourself to it on the right hand side if you're a member of the NF Core GitHub organization. This is important because this means that anyone else who's looking at the boards and the issues will see that you're working on this and won't also start working on the same issue. So it basically kind of claims it as yours and stops anyone else. So try not to assign yourself to loads of issues, because of course that stops other people from working on them. So just try and have one the whole time that you're assigned on. All right, then it's time to write some code. So the usual kind of workflow applies here. We have a talk from a couple of days ago if you're not quite sure how this normally looks for NF Core. So check it out on our website for GitHub contribution basics. But basically, do your work, do your coding on your own fork of that repository, make a pull request and get it improved. I should note here that the hackathon is always quite focused on writing code, but a big part of it is also reviewing other people's code. So especially if you're feeling a bit more comfortable with NF Core, please try and dedicate a bit of time to looking at other people's pull requests and going through and doing some reviews. If you're not completely comfortable, you don't have to merge stuff, but just doing reviews, writing comments, checking through the code and testing out is really helpful. We always have a big backlog of pull requests to go through after every hackathon. So any help there is very welcome. Okay, each project has a document on a website called HackMD. The links for all of these are on the website and on Slack. And once you've finished your little task, hop on to HackMD and just make a note of it, a little description. We're going to use this in those group kind of wrap-up sessions for the project leader to summarize what everyone's been doing. So if you don't write it there, then other people won't know that you've done it. And it's also useful for us to write up after the event. So it's quite important. It's quite easy to forget. So please try and keep that in the back of your mind as you go along. And then, yeah, basically let people know what you've done. Have a little celebrate, little shout about it on Slack, and find your next project and keep hacking. Oh yeah, I should have put this in first ready. So this is Slack. If you've seen any talk by me or anyone else in NF Core before, it'll be old news, but you can get your invite to Slack if you're not already there. I think we gave out this link on Slack, so I'm assuming everyone will be there, but hop onto the Slack organization. So the main channel we have for the hackathon is called Hackathon March 2021, but then we also have a bunch of kind of other channels to try and split up the discussion. Like I said, there's quite a lot of us, so it would be very noisy if everyone's chatting at once in that main channel. So we've got a project a channel for each of the kind of project themes, and then we've got one called Help. I'm not sure how much we'll use that. I'm assuming most people will use the main Hackathon channel for kind of general stuff, but maybe if you're feeling that you're being drowned out a bit, you can hop there and kind of wave your hand and ask for help. Honorable mention also to a new channel that Maxine made a couple of days ago called a Spotify playlist. So we have a shared collaborative Spotify playlist for the hackathon, which you've set up. And there's even a Slack integration, so you can just do /add and then the name of your favorite song, and it will be added to that playlist. So if you're feeling motivated or you want to change the style of the playlist a bit, get in and get involved. There's also details about how to listen to the playlist on that channel. Okay, a new thing we're trying this time is the idea of having some mentors within the hackathon. This is basically for people who are new and they need help and don't really know where to turn. We've had people volunteer through the registration to be mentors. And I've put these emoji in because we've asked all the hackathon mentors to set their Slack little status as a little wizard or a mage. So these people are hopefully easy to kind of identify within Slack, and you can ask for help and kind of get feedback from them. So feel free to ping anyone you see with this emoji and try and get help from them. And also we'll try and just jump in whenever we see anyone asking for help. We've specifically tried to make sure that there are at least some mentors in all the different kind of relevant time zones. So if you're working in Asia or in the Americas, and all the Europeans are in bed, then hopefully you'll still have some people online who are there to help, and it won't be completely left out by yourself. It's going to be a bit quiet in those hours, I suspect, but I'm hoping that we can keep those pull requests trickling in 24 hours a day for the next 3 days. Just a quick word on safety. So this is a big event. We have a lot of people now, and so we need to kind of be a little bit more careful. And one of the things we've done quite recently, with a lot of input from Anuka, especially in the NF Core outreach team, is to rewrite our code of conduct. And by being here today and being involved in the hackathon, you are implicitly agreeing that you're going to abide by our code of conduct. Please check it out. It's not very long. It's very easy to read and just kind of sets out what our expectations are for the NF Core community. And that's up on the NF Core website. We also have a few extras added to the hackathon event webpage, which are just specific for the event. But basically, it kind of boils down to being sensible, really. The schedule doesn't have any breaks written in because we don't know what time zone you're in. So just be kind to yourself. Remember to eat. Don't troll other people. Don't be mean. Try to not share the Zoom and the Jitsi links on social media, just to avoid other people kind of Zoom bombing us. YouTube, of course, is fine. And if you're going to take any screenshots or anything like that, please just ask people before you do so, just so that you're not posting stuff on the web without people's consent. And we put this as part of the sign up just to gauge people's kind of feeling on this. And there are a little wedge of people there who are not really very keen on being photographed, which is completely fine. So this is just a reminder to ask people before you do that, if you're going to, as much to myself as anyone else. If you're in need of help, then Renuka here is our safety officer at NF Core. It's a new thing for us. So she's the #1 person to go and talk to if you've got any concerns whatsoever. Mike here is in the States, and he's agreed to be a backup for if Renuka's asleep. And failing that, then there's also the core team and any mentors who you can go to if you'd like to have any support or help or have any questions. Lots of people here are beginners, and you've said that you're kind of interested in getting up to speed with NF Core and Nextflow. A little bit different to previous hackathons. In the past, we've had the hackathon interspersed with lots of talks and kind of training materials, whereas this time we're really trying to make the hackathon purely about writing code, really. So to offset that, we've been running this new course of weekly talks every Tuesday afternoon or every Tuesday lunchtime if you're in Europe, called NF Core Bite Size, which we've been streaming to the web and putting them onto the NF Core website. So if you go to the events page on the NF Core website, you'll find all of these, and all of them have YouTube videos attached, and most of them are about 15 minutes long. That's what we aim for. So they're nice and short, and we've specifically picked these previous 7 talks as the kind of things which we would have talked about at the hackathon previously, kind of getting people up and running. If you're new to NF Core and new to Nextflow. So please have a look at those if you're new. That's a great place to start and a great way to spend your time during this hackathon to get up to speed. We also have a YouTube channel where all of these are, and there's a lot of talks there which might be of interest as well, especially have a look at the playlists. We maintain a playlist of videos of talks that we've done on other people's YouTube accounts and quite a few training events and things there. So that's also lots of good material for you to dig into. If you're new to Nextflow and you want to pick up Nextflow rather than something specific to NF Core, check out Secura, the guys who maintain Nextflow. They've put up all of their training materials online and they're a fantastic resource. So have a look at that link and you'll be a Nextflow wizard in no time. And just generally check the NF Core website. We have lots of documentation and help there. So dig through usage and dig through developers and see if you can find anything. We also have a page called resources, I think, which is all about Nextflow training materials from across the web. Okay, I'm going to start wrapping up. So big thanks to Chan Zuckerberg Initiative. We are very grateful to them to fund us as part of their essential open source software for science, the EOS grants, which are quite a very kind of progressive grant actually, to specifically focus on something which has previously been difficult to find grant money for. So we're very, very thankful to them. Many of you should also be thankful to them if you're wearing your goodie bags today. But also it's not just that. I mean, they help us out in lots of ways, and that grant money goes to lots of things within NF Core. So we're very thankful to them, but especially for today's hackathon. And if you are wearing some NF Core stash, some of the good stuff, be aware that in Slack we've got a special emoji to celebrate that. And get them on now, get them ready, because I think we're probably going to do a group photo of everyone in a second wearing your NF Core socks. So be prepared. Okay, and with that, I would just like to say you're very, very welcome. Thank you for joining us. I hope you have an excellent time in the next few days. Have a lot of fun, make some friends, and I'm going to pass on to James, I think, who is going to talk to us a little bit about some of the social aspects that we're going to have in the hackathon in the coming days.
So I think we'll start with Maxime actually, but yeah.
Yeah, sorry, it's fine, it's the same. Yes, so basically, welcome everyone. It's great to be with everyone once again, and it feels like we're almost like seeing like so many people is good, and I really like that. Yes, so first of all, I just wanted to highlight you that the main social chat will be the main hackathon Slack channel. So if you need really like to speak to anyone, go there. For the Spotify playlist, so yes, Phil already mentioned that. So it's a Spotify playlist that we started during our first hackathon. So for those who were lucky enough not to be there, you now have the chance as well to listen to this playlist, and you can even add some more songs. The command is very simple. It's /add, and then you specify the track name. It works in every channel, but I recommend to do that in the Spotify playlist specific channel. That way we don't flood the main Slack channel. James, yep. I think it's back to you.
And then throughout the 3 days, we're going to be trialing some more fun and games. So one thing we're going to try is a NF Core bingo. So I'll post the link in the Slack channel just now, and it's also on the website below the schedule table. So you can feel free to open that up and keep that open throughout the event. And if you get a bingo, 5 in a row, post on again the Hackathon channel, and you might be in for winning some goodies. Then also on Wednesday, as Phil mentioned earlier, we have the social event, so 5 to 6 p.m. on CET. Again, check the schedule on the website for the link. And during that, we'll be having an NF Core quiz, like that happened at the last hackathon. And also Maxime set up another little fun thing we're going to do during the social event, which...
Yes, sorry, it's me again. Wait, I completely lost it. Where were we? Sorry. Yes, so we also set up an escape room So we did that at our previous hackathon that was virtual as well, and it was quite fun. And yes, because I win that, I think like they put me on in charge, like to find an escape room so that I don't win again. Back to you, James.
Yeah. And then finally, as probably this is when we will have the most number of people available, like Phil said, we want to take a group photo with everyone showing off their socks. So Phil and Alex, if you can get your, exactly, so Maxime is demonstrating how this is going to go. So if Phil and Alex can get their screenshot and windows ready, maybe you can say in Slack when you're ready. And if there's anyone who doesn't want to be featured in the group photo, please turn off your cameras now. So wait for Alex and Phil to say if they're ready. I'll do some...
I've got 3 pages on Zoom. There's too many people. Alex, maybe you can do, well, let's go through. I'll do page at a time. I need to put my own socks up. Ready? First page, ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay. Second page. Oh no, there's a 5-second countdown delay. I messed it up.
I'll let everyone keep your muscles warm up.
Oh, I'm doing this so badly. Alex, how's it going? Right. Let's try it again. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Wonderful. Okay, I'm going to stop now. That's fine.
All right, thank you very much. And then I guess next we'll be moving on to the group distribution. Maybe Gisela, you start?
Sure, thanks. Yeah, so for the group distribution, we will just, in the next minutes, we will just split into different rooms. But for now, we will all introduce a bit what each group is all about. So I'll be one of the leaders of the pipelines team together with Maxime. And in our team, will be all about contributing to already existing pipelines in NF Core, or if someone's interested in adding another pipeline to NF Core, we can also discuss how this process goes. So if you want to contribute to existing pipelines or develop your own pipeline or so, just join our team and we'll be talking about that.
Great. I just remembered also the NF Core badge, which I've only just put my own on. Yeah, so one of the other projects we've called Framework, and that basically refers to anything that's not a pipeline and not DSL2, not a module. So it's the website, repository, it's NF Core tools, the helper command line tools. It's doing GitHub automation for in a template for any of the pipelines, things like this, kind of stuff that's not a pipeline. We've got a few kind of big things going on in that project, a few big things we want to take up, and lots of little tidying tasks. So especially if you want to get involved in some Python or some web stuff, then come and drop in and just take a break from the next flow code for a little bit, and we'll be there. Alex?
Yeah, so James and me are going to work a bit on documentation, hopefully, and we are actually hoping that a couple of people are joining as well. So our idea was actually to move on with some of the aspects that have been previously introduced in NF Core. So for example, we have a couple of points open that would need some actual care for a lot of pipelines. So for example, we introduced a JSON schema that we would like to work on to have that spread out across multiple pipelines. But there's also work involved that we want to make a bit more tutorials available to the user community, because there's currently a lack, especially in some aspects where we don't really have nice user tutorials. So we're looking for people to help us aiding and working on these types of documentation tasks. And we already put up a lot of tasks in the project board and in the HackMD. So happy to see if people are interested in working on that. Yeah.
How long do I go? Hello, everyone. Welcome, and thank you for being here. So I'm going to be leading the DSL2 modules group. There's a bunch of us there actually that are clued up with this. Kevin, Jose, Gregor, Patrick. A bunch of us are there and willing to help out. A few things that would be nice, given that with this particular project, the tasks are quite a bit fragmented. For example, like adding a module or adding documentation for a module. So it would be great if you can just update the HackMD document whenever you've done something. So just so we can keep track instead of having to look in different places, and then that will serve as a sort of a summary. A lot of the functionality we've added for DSL2 modules is fresh off the press in the latest NF Core Tools release. It'll be great if you can attempt to break it, because it just means that we can fix it. It's all literally just been released last week. A lot of it is working. If you want to add a module, I would definitely recommend checking out the docs in the main README of the NF Core modules repo. I again updated that on Thursday, I think. Use the tools there because it will make it so much easier to add modules, and hopefully once you get into a routine of adding them, it will become more and more trivial, and also help us to identify issues and stuff. So please use NF Core tools, install and use that to add the modules, lint and all sorts of other functionality. For those of you that are interested in using or implementing a DSL2 pipeline, there is a template for it. All of you may not know that. It's on the DSL2 template branch of NF Core Tools, and I literally just have updated it yesterday as well. I just need to fix some linting. Once we get that into the DSL2 branch, we may, we had some brief discussion this morning that we may put that on dev, and so you should be able to then install it directly from there and develop your pipeline. So hopefully that should be ready, and that will look like the RNA-seq, which also now is a bit outdated actually. The dev on RNA-seq is more up to date, or the dev on BioRecon. And yeah, please make sure that all the documentation and stuff is up to date. It's all literally been put together. So any feedback, comments, help, updating stuff would be amazing. I'll try and be on the Jitsi link just in case anyone needs me pretty much all day. So yeah, thank you. Any questions, just fire away on Slack.
Brilliant. Yeah. Okay. I think that's it for this welcome talk. We're going to keep it short. As we said, there's join on Slack, join your project groups that you're interested in. You can be in multiple projects, it's no problem. But right now, pick your favorite one, go there. There's a link for Jitsi for the video chat that we're going to all dive straight into right now. And then in each of the projects, we're going to go into a little bit more detail about the kinds of tasks and the setup, more of what Harsha was just talking about to get you up to speed with how to contribute to these. If in doubt, please shout, and maybe if we have any burning questions right now, you can raise your hand or unmute yourself maybe. But if not, we'll crack on and we can take everything on Slack. Great. Okay. Welcome everyone. Let's hack and speak to you all soon.